how are we feeling so far? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, if you like that, you're gonna love a young man named Kennan Scott coming to us all the way from West Oakland. Come on up, Kennan. Hang on, I gotta find.
Yeah.
Yep, hang on, I lost his presentation amongst everyone else. Horrible. Shoot. Can you do an improv real quick while I find it?
For sure.
Okay, great.
All right, improv. Okay, I made up a rhyme a little bit ago. This is an emceeing. I'm a computer science teacher, and we're literally rock stars, right? So I made a rhyme. I'll tell you my rhyme once you find this. The problem in my city is within diversity in the tech industry, and it ain't funny because they got all the money. The smartest firms, they can't solve it. Google, Facebook, and Yahoo, they all wanted to hide it. But in audit, we all were astounded. Black and brown representation at less than 3% throughout the nation. Come on, let's be honest. It should be better, a worthwhile endeavor. Build up the workforce, show lives they matter. Now communities can grow. Let the money flow, release the control on the knowledge and access. Only through education can we manifest a new destiny where I could be creating my community's needs. Not a consumer following trend and greed, coded academy, engaging in the language skills and mastery, built on the values of empathy and agency, dual immersion, real life learning, computational thinking, hypertext syntax JavaScripting to bring this new industry a new beginning in Oakland.
Wait, do you want to hear his presentation, his real presentation? Okay. I'll get out of the way. Another round of applause for Kennan Scott.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you all sticking around, being here for this. Is this the live version that's going to go automatic? Oh, geez. Okay, so I tried to make an actual Ignite talk. I'm really excited to do it. I was here in the room last year or at Crucible seeing Ignite talks. And today, I'm going to tell you about making computer science relevant at West Oakland Middle School, where I teach in the hood, and why it's important that we create a culture of making to support this relevancy. Now, it's not going forward, so I'm going to hit play. There we go. And we'll just jump ahead. Nah, not that far ahead. That's my pretty slide. All right. So you heard me say in the rhyme that there's a problem in the industry that less than, and you see 8% here, but that's a really big number, but really it's less than 3% of people in the tech industry are Black and brown. And that has nothing to do with our population, right? We know that we are a bigger population than that. So there's clearly an equity issue in the workforce development around the tech sector. And that's the ugly number. But even when you see it in a pretty picture, and this is gorgeous, this is some wonderful data, but you still see it there. The places where my students consume the most, where they spend their most time, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, well, that's me. But they don't even represent us at all. We got 4% Latino, 2% Black. They're not representing our people that are constantly consuming information on these systems. They're not even at the table being discussed. Solution. I heard Van Jones, who's amazing. He's the founder of Yes We Code. I heard him say we need to create more Black Mark Zuckerbergs. I know, it sounds interesting. And I had that same feeling, but I couldn't do that because Van Jones was in front of me. So I was like, okay, but I had to contextualize that for myself, and he helped me do that. And we started talking about the tale of two hoodies. So if you see a Black man in a hoodie, you think, ooh, what's up with that dude? You see a white dude in a hoodie, you think, well, maybe that's Mark Zuckerberg, right? So right here is a Black man in a hoodie. This is Rodney Urquhart. He's amazing. He has a wonderful story. If you haven't heard it, check into Breaking Into Startups and look up Rodney Urquhart. It's a journey from being a college dropout to being a highly valued test engineer at Slack. And I bring this picture up because Rodney's my boy. And he's chill as all get out. Look at that picture, right? But he's a Black man in a hoodie, and he might as well be the next Black Mark Zuckerberg. But we don't know about that. And that's what Van Jones was trying to tell me when he said that we need to create more Black Zuckerbergs, is that we need to change the dynamic, the conversation about the hoodie. It's about what we see when we look at this man right here first, because this is a professional engineer. Ooh. It takes an entire community to do that. to change people's minds. You don't just do that by yourself. I'm lucky I'm in Oakland. I have this amazing set of different types of organizations that help me in my day-to-day job of teaching students computer science, right? Shout out to the Hidden Genius Project. Code.org is working this year with Oakland Unified School District to bring computer science to about 45 classrooms. Last year, I was one of 2. No longer a unicorn, it's really cool. But we all have to work together in Oakland to make this a reality, to actually create more Black Mark Zuckerbergs. Like, that is still the goal, right? Right? How do I fit into this? Well, I'm a Libra, right? I was a child actor, true truth and a lie, that is also true. None of these are lies. I love Nike Dunks. You can see here, I have the Black History Months from last year. Love me some sneakers. And I am addicted to French fries. I tried to go an entire week just eating French fries alone. It did not end well, but my talk is not about me, it's about relevance. And none of that was relevant at all. But here's what's actually relevant. I graduated from Northeastern University with a Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering. It's not computer science at all. But I made the transition from being an engineer for 12 years to working in the classroom, and I have been so blessed to be the computer science and engineering teacher for the past 4 years at West Oakland Middle School. And that's where a lot of wonderful, wonderful community events and community partners have come together to help support me, including being asked to join the Maker Ed Education Advisory Committee. So if you're part of that EAC, yeah, right? So that's who I am. That's what's really important. I love our logo. We actually have the Iron Maiden font as our school's font. Pretty sweet. But when I'm not here hanging out with adults, having a good time making, usually I'm with some awesome students like these 2 girls. These 2 girls created an app, and we're showcasing it here. I'm in the background. This is a great picture of me. But I'm in the background, and these girls are showing a bunch of industry experts their application that they created on their own on Android called Swag or No Swag. And you know how this works. You swipe to the left if it's got swag. You swipe to the right if it don't have swag. Pretty basic, right? We got this. I think we can all use it. But what was really cool was I tried this new thing. I was like, we're going to just create apps, and you're going to choose what they're about. I called it the WOM Shark Tank. Version 1 was in 2016. I made some quick emails to people. I got about 4 or 5 industry partners to come in, spend some time with my students, pepper them with questions, judge and choose a winner. And it was all about creating Android apps of your own. Like, you got to choose what it was you did. I left it wide open. And as you can imagine, this is the first prototype, and I'm in middle school, and it was clear that if you give middle school students the opportunity to create an app, they're going to create an app for themselves. And that was awesome. And we made some really, really, really sweet apps. I had one group, they were, worried that when you're in the nail shop, you don't know what people are talking about, you need a way to translate. So they actually developed an app that with a push of a button, it would listen to a conversation and translate it into English from its original language. And it knew what language it was. Just about them. I had apps that matched your nail color with your lipstick. Really tremendous work. But I'm not gonna lie to you, I was a little bit like, all right, I think we can take this a little bit further. Thank God for being a teacher, you can start that over. So I did it again. New group of students, they never seen it before. Let's do this all again. Fast forward to 2017, I made a good flyer. Huge difference. If anybody's used Canva or Pictochart, making a good flyer is tremendous. After this flyer, I got about 30 industry people to show up to our Shark Tank. We had members from Salesforce, eBay, Next Thing Co., and the list was incredible. I cannot thank those people enough for showing up and showing the support of my students. But this year we did a little differently. Version 2 was not just like, hey, create an app that you want to do. This was about social change. We're going to make a difference with the knowledge and skills that we have. Now, I teach a whole section of building apps and making apps. And so by the time we get to this project, they've made like 5 or 6 apps that are really basic. And now it's their time to show what they know, right? We talk about assessment being fun. Here you go. Make an app for social change that does something that makes people, follows their needs. Insert a little help from the D School, got to go to an amazing coaching session where they really helped me bring empathy to the forefront, change the way I thought about design, change the way I thought about teaching design to my students, and the kind of person I am, if you teach me something cool, shout out to D Cliff, I'm gonna use it right away. So boom, 2017, I jumped right in. And we started actually looking at the user first. So here's a nice thinking routine that the D School puts you through where you create an Mad Lib about a user. Some of us were in the leadership summit yesterday and we got to make a Mad Lib about a user. I did the same exact thing with my students. And you'll notice on the right, these are their findings. So it asks you about a person, what they need to do, and why is it important. And I had them do the exact same thing, but they had to interview 3 people. They interview somebody in their family, someone in the school community, and someone in the West Oakland community, and you'd be surprised how middle school kids are comfortable with just walking up to strangers. I said, don't walk up to strangers unless you feel comfortable. So many of them next to Mr. Scott, I talked to some random dude at the bodega. He got all these needs around inventory. But what was really cool is I started listening to people, and I started seeing students really care about other people. And I was really excited, because you think about middle schoolers, and it's all about me when you're a middle schooler, but they were actually feeling what their subjects, what their interviewers were feeling. I had one girl came back, she was down. I was like, why are you so down? You know, it's like 7th period, we're about to go home. We should be happy. She's like, I just talked to Miss Todd. She has all these problems. She's trying to retire. And I'm really honestly taking in the feelings of the people they were interviewing. So that got me to thinking, well, they just answered the proverbial question for themselves. Students sitting in a math class want to know, why do I need to know fractions? Students sitting in history are like, why is the history of China important? You tell a student to go find someone else's need and then decide if that's important to them, and they've asked the why, and they've answered it. And now it's meaningful to them. So I got to step back at that point and really just watch them create apps designed for other people, get engaged in learning, and literally when my bell rings in my classroom, they don't move. They're there just working because they care. These are them. These are my awesome students. It's a better picture of me. But these are them. You can see the pride in their faces. This is them. I like to do that. So that you can find me. It's like a Where's Waldo thing. That way you know that's me. There I am. I'm the guy with that shirt. Thank you for pointing that out. It's a tactic. But look at the pride on their faces. I mean, they're actually right there presenting to industry professionals, right? That would make me freak out. I'm lucky I get to present to my community of people that I know love me. These guys are presenting in front of actual professionals in industry, and they're having a great time, and you can see that the meaning is there. The meaning is not lost because of the work. So I offer another solution. Yes, we need to create more Black Mark Zuckerbergs. That is true. I'm not going to deny that, Van Jones. But maybe there is a place where computer science can live everywhere. And so my students that are bored in history, falling asleep in math, but somehow can put 4 hours into creating an app overnight at home, really get that engagement everywhere. Because now I've seen that if you make the lessons meaningful, if you engage the students where they live, and my phone's charging over there because literally I live on my phone, then you start to see that the learning is all super relevant. And now we're creating a workforce of knowledge seekers. And I heard someone say it earlier, we're moving from a labor workforce to a knowledge-based workforce. So I present to you my solution. It's called Coded Academy. It's fledgling, it's new. It's really up to us to build this community together. So I'm asking you to hit me up on Twitter, Soconomics, that's me directly, Coded Academy, that's the school. Tell me what you think. Offer me your solutions, offer me your questions, offer me your challenges. I love challenges and feedback. It makes me go home and work harder. So please, I ask you, this is probably the longest slide of all of the slides, even though I've had to manually, but I want you to take that information down. If you think this is a great idea, if you get motivated by seeing students engaged in work, let's talk more about how we do that at a whole school level, because I know it lives in my class, but I want it to live in all the classes, not just computer science. And last but not least, my time is running short. Thank you.